Hello and welcome to Logical Tarot. My name's Anita and today I wanted to talk a little bit about why this channel is called Logical Tarot. On the surface, it seems like those two things don't have a whole lot in common, but I wanted to maybe explain to you why I chose that name. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe and like this video and stick around to the end where I will tell you my personal opinions on tarot. So if you're watching this video, I assume you already know what tarot is, but just in case it's the middle of the night and you wandered here from the weird side of YouTube, let me give you a really brief overview. So tarot reading is a form of cartomancy, which is basically just fortune telling using cards. Cartomancy has been around since like the 14th century, but modern tarot didn't come about until 1900 or so. In 1909, a man named Arthur Waite decided that he wanted to create his own deck, and he got together with an artist, Pamela Coleman Smith, and made the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Now, Waite and Smith were both members of the Hermetic Order of the Dawn, which was a group of people that started in the late 1800s who really focused on learning more about things in our world that we didn't know enough about. The Hermetic Order of the Dawn says of tarot, "The most powerful sources of information come from within. The tarot aids in coming in contact with one's higher self." In other words, they believe that tarot was a form of getting to know yourself through cards. When you think of a tarot reader, you probably think of a dark, smoky room, someone very mystical. And that is true for some people. Some readers do fit that profile. But the beautiful thing about tarot is that it is so inclusive and so available to many different types of people. We've all heard of tarot being some form of fortune telling, but there's a lot of really interesting science behind it that I think is worth exploring. One of the simplest ways that science can explain tarot is through the art of projecting or mindfulness. If you've ever heard of a Rorschach test, you know what projecting is. It's the idea that when given a series of random images, our brains will create a story. The same thing happens, scientists believe, when we look at images on tarot cards. Each card has a specific image and a few key things that the card might mean. When we see multiple images put together, it makes a story in our brains that we can easily insert our own narrative into. Many scientists believe that it's this art of projecting that allows tarot to be such an accurate tool. When we are creating the story ourselves, it's always going to be correct. A more complicated but super fascinating theory that scientists have proposed about why tarot works is called synchronicity. Carl Jung was a scientist who studied quantum mechanics, which is basically the idea that particles in the universe connect with other particles in the universe to create probable rather than certain outcomes. In other words, no matter how good you are at basketball, you're not going to make every shot. The way that this relates to tarot is that tarot can show us the patterns and paths and help us understand the meaning of those particles. This is why some people will consistently get the same cards in different spreads. But what about tarot as fortune telling? Can it really tell us what's going to happen in the future? Scientists say maybe. Tarot is able to give us a snapshot of where we are right now and what our choices are leading us toward. Of course, it's always up to us to continue down the same path or change direction. What kinds of questions are good to ask the cards? Well, open-ended questions are best, and questions that are focused on yourself. How can I? What can I? Things like that are really helpful for understanding your life and your emotions, even when you might not be aware of them. Thank you for learning more about tarot with me. Now, as I promised, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my beliefs and how I came to love tarot. So I started into tarot completely as a mindfulness practice. I wanted a way to center my thoughts, and it seemed like it was a great way to start. Like I said before, it enables you to really paint pictures in your mind and connect things that you maybe wouldn't have been able to connect. If you had asked me then if I thought there was anything more to it, I definitely would have told you no. But as I started to read tarot more and more, I started to see patterns and things that just couldn't possibly be coincidences. There was just statistically no way that I would consistently get the same 3 cards in every spread, or that my friends and family would consistently get the same cards for them. It seemed like certain cards were linked to people and linked to situations and parts of our past. And when I did more research and learned about synchronicity, I was able to understand a little bit more about what might be happening. A lot of people say that tarot is a result of spirit guides, and I'm not here to say that that isn't true. But for me, spirit guide is a lot more logical. My subconscious and my inner voice guides me in tarot and reading tarot accurately and intuitively for myself and for others. It's a wonderful practice that has helped me so much in so many areas of my life, and I'm so excited to be able to share it with all of you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!